So this is a good one. This is my 97 E36 Alpine White 3 and non-sunroof coupe, and it's only done 50,000 miles. So these cars are really hard to find in the UK, and you just don't get Alpine Whites coming up for sale very often, so I had to do it. So I'll do a walk around of the car and then show plans and what I like and what I don't like about it. Inside of the car is immaculate. You don't see door cards like that very often. Bit torn on the seats, but I'll get into that. That's the original radio. Sorry for the sun. Look at the headlining as well. So the car's actually a 318 IS automatic, which isn't that desirable, and it's not an M Sport or anything, it's just an S or an SE. But the whole point of this car is the chassis, not the engine. In E36s I always like to see the tools as well. And I think I've got most of them. The original road safety thing, and first aid kit in the packaging. Just look at that floor jack, looks like it's never been used. 3 in Alpine White 3 is really important. The most white or glossy white. The earlier Alpine Whites 1 and 2 are a bit creamier, but as you can see this is really nice glossy white. Still a bit of water on it. So just a bit about this actual car from when it was new. I actually have the original sales invoice from BMW and loads of service history. That's really cool. I think this car was £24,000 in '97. So in terms of options, it's quite basic, but it's got the air conditioning, which I like and I want to keep. This isn't going to be a track car, it's just going to be a nice road car. The interior is really 1990s. I think this is called Violet Blue or something. It's full leather, it's really nice. It's quite an expensive option. And the headliner was an option as well. The colour, something black, I can't pronounce it, I'll put it up. It has lumbar support as well, so when you push the button this comes out to support your back, which is quite cool. You can hear it go. And you can see the seat. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but the seat kind of retracts. And push it back. Another option is this spoiler I want to keep. It's a good one. So here's what I don't like about the car and what I want to change. Straight off from the front, on the side, on the back, it needs the M Sport kit. It's cool that this is SE and I'm definitely going to keep it just because it's so nice and original, but it's going to need M Sport front bumper, M Sport side skirts, M Sport rear bumper, and also the biggest difference I think it makes is the M Sport trims, the mouldings, which you can still get new from BMW. Carrying on with the exterior theme, this is a facelift car. You can tell that by the kidney grills. They're a lot more round and a bit girly, to be honest. I much prefer the pre-facelift squarer grills, which I do have. It just means you have to change the whole nose cone, but that's not a big deal anyway. It does have a bit of bubbling here. I'm a big fan of ambers on E36s. I really like the glass Bosch headlights. I do prefer the design. It might be the earlier cars, I might be wrong, that doesn't have these dimples, but I can live with these because the bonnet sort of obscures them. When I get the M Sport front bumper as well, I want to do the number plate delete, and also I want to do the 328 Sport grille. I think that looks better than the mesh. I'll show a picture. I'm not as keen on the facelift side indicators. I prefer the thicker black and orange ones that you get on the pre-facelift cars, but I think you have to change the whole wing, which probably will leave. So the car sits quite low actually for a factory car because it's on 15-inch wheels. Obviously these are going to get changed. It's cool how original they are, but to me the best looking wheel is the Style 22, the Sunflower 1, DS1, and they're 17-inch, so we'll get them on. This is one of the things I was the happiest about, non-sunroof. It's so hard to find these. I'll keep this interior for the meanwhile, but if I see a set of Vaders, the cloth ones, I think it's called Hurricane, I always wanted a set of those, but they're very expensive. Beyond that, the steering wheel's not bad, but I've got an MTEC 2 which I much prefer, so I'm going to put that in. Plans with this car is I had my fun with track cars and drift sort of E36s, the more rough ones. This is a lot nicer of a car, cost a bit more as well. pace to start with. Our plan with this is just to make it into a really clean, fast road car. So I'm not going to try and rush this car, I really want to take my time with it. But yeah, I've always wanted an M3. I dread to think what a real white M3 would cost. So this is quite a good way in. It's a clean chassis, and engine swaps I've done before, they're not too difficult. The only debate with the engine is going to be, do I keep it E36 M3? This is a UK car, so it means in the UK we get, I think it's S50, B30 or B32. That's the E36 M3 engine, just under 300 horsepower. It's an easier swap, it bolts straight in, it wires straight in. The only problem with them is they're becoming really expensive. I've seen them for sale for 5,000, doesn't mean they're worth that, but they always need rebuilding. And what's tempting me is the E46 M3 engine, the S54, I don't think is either less money or the same money. Yeah, it's a newer, more powerful engine, and they do look good inside E36s. S54s, I think the main thing you can do, the main maintenance to do with them is the bearings. And if the engine was out of the car anyway, it'd be a lot cheaper and I'd pay someone to do it. I think other than that, they're quite reliable. Maybe the Vanos as well. S54 is a bit more work. If you want it to look clean in OEM, you need to buy an adapter harness, I think, because the ECU on the E46 is in a different location. You have to get the EWS removed off the ECU. That's not a big deal. So engine aside, I like the 5-speed. We're tempted to keep that, and they're quite cheap. And that means I can keep, the prop shaft and a standard, I think it's a medium-sized diff, 188mm diff. Because this is an automatic, it actually comes with a 444 rear diff. It's not an LSD or anything, but yeah, that would be way too short-geared for an M3 engine, but it'd be interesting. So for the rear end, I'd want to get a 188mm diff. I want it to be an LSD, and hopefully get the final drive ratio to about 390. I think that's what you can do with these. So that to me is a good compromise for the road. Other than that, mechanically, I've got to put coilovers on just to stiffen it up a bit. This is a 50,000 mile car, but they're a bit tired. I'm not the first one to do this, but also want to do all the subframes, get them powder coated, new rubber bushings. Again, these are a lot of plans, and plans change. But in terms of brakes, obviously the 318 IS brakes aren't going to be good enough. I don't think they're that small, and I think the rears will be okay to keep. The discs all around, but the fronts I really want to get. I want to get the F20M front calipers. You get those on things like the 135i, the 140i, and I think the 240i, and maybe some 4 and 3 series as well. I like them because they're blue, but they're quite good OEM brakes. What's crazy is they actually bolt straight onto E36 hubs at the front if you've got a non-M3. To get the calipers to work, I think all you have to do is shave down a bit of the pad because it overlaps the disc, and you can use an E46 M3 disc or a CSL disc, and then you might have to mess around with the sensors a bit, but that's fine. And that also means if I keep the standard setup on the brakes, it means I can retain the handbrake and stuff, which is important because it needs to go through an MOT. Small bits would be, like a nicer radiator, an aftermarket one. We're trying to film most of this. Watch the channel. I did get rid of my track car. I'll show you a bit of that now. But I've taken all the good bits off it. Another visual thing would be M3 mirrors. I want to get genuine ones. If I can find them. It's a bit ricey, but the motorsport door handle thing. I've probably missed a few things, but thanks for watching. I'll just walk around the car again. It's just so much fun having a car that's insured and MOT and road legal. I'll be honest, the automatic isn't the best. I don't know if it's a 3 or 4 or 5 speed. I've driven these before, BMWs of this era, they're not fun. It's a really good car on the motorway, this. It needs a manual to engage it. I do still have my M50 non-Vanos, which I'm tempted to put in soon, but I really just want to enjoy the car as it is. I'm in two minds to put my M50 in. I could do it quickly, and it does work. No point putting a manual gearbox behind the 318 IS motor, the M44. It's such an effort to get the gearbox out of these, you might as well take the engine out, and then if the engine's out, might as well put the M50 in. But I think I'll just enjoy the car as it is. I think when it's on the style 22s I like it much more. Even in its current form, it's a really comfy car on the motorway, and it's nice in long distances. I know that's what they were built for. You know, 24 years later, 23 years later, it does better on the motorway than my 2013 Seat Ibiza. It's just such a nice car. I think one of the biggest factors which I am going to lose is just how much, is it called sidewall? That makes the car really comfy. Yeah, it's a 60. It's the height or something. So I will lose a bit of that when I go to my tyres, but I can always put these back on. I hope you've enjoyed this video. This car's just so much fun, and I'm looking forward to working on it. Another thing I'm torn between, it does get an M3 engine. Do I change the badge? Half of me likes the sleeper idea, but it's not really going to look like a sleeper when it's got, you know, an M Sport kit on it. Half of me, that M3 badge does look good, but it won't be a proper M3. So it'll be an M3 in everything but the title of the car. So everything works on the inside. Electric windows. It's even still got the sticker for the automatic gearbox. AM clock. It's really rare to see one of these radios, and it does work. This clock, the odometer sometimes does pixelate, but it's working now, so I won't knock it. See any warning lights. And one final thought I forgot to add. You forget how nice it is to drive a standard E36. You know, even 2021, they are still very good cars, and you don't have to be thrashing it to enjoy it. You're still engaged, but even at low speeds you're involved. I'll be honest though, even 50,000 miles can't cure the sagging glove box, but they all do that.